After the many terrible years of famine and starvation, where not even the unicorns could save them from the horrible coldness that made all races suffer, friendship brought them together into a new land, one they called Equestria. Scientists with great minds knew the power and magic of friendship could keep them together, but they still feared that one day something could separate them. They decided to create something new to ensure this would never happen again. A being so powerful, a ruler to keep their subjects calm and happy. They needed to build a true hero, more powerful, more intelligent, and unique from the rest. Together they worked to create this new being, an artificial life form from nothing but machine parts and magic. The scientists knew it was better that it was not a real pony, as no pony could yield such power and strength. They called it an alicorn. They did multiple tests, testing their intelligence, their emotions, their capability to make rational decisions. All tests 1 through 43 were failures. Most did not have emotions or a clear understanding of things, broke down quickly, or had broken audio. Some voices sounded too robotic and unrealistic. The one that was finally perfect was Test 44. Test 44 was given a stronger mind. She had a creativity that others did not possess. She could write and create stories from nothing. Scientists lied to the ponies of Equestria, saying that she had come from a faraway land. Test 44 warned the ponies, saying it was too dangerous a journey to return, that many had died of disease. She wept for her lost loved ones that did not truly exist, breaking the ponies' hearts, and they showered her with gifts and kindness. She soon ruled over Equestria, as the scientists had given her a fake background. She told many the stories of her battling fierce monsters and rescuing other alicorns from her land. Test 44 was a goddess to the ponies of Equestria. Statues were built of her, her name and mark inscribed into stone, written over and over in stories. The foals adored her, soon reading picture books about her life and the wars she faced, her image painted beautifully on every artist's canvas. 2 years of her rule, and she broke down. Holes had burned through her body. Wires hung down loosely from her head, like hair. Her voice, broken and sharp as a knife, her illusion magic would flicker on and off. She was taken back to the lab, and when the scientists could not fix her, they announced her death, claiming she had died of the disease from her homeland. They were not fast enough to bring her back to life. They put her away with the other broken AIs, and so the queen was nothing more but a broken endoskeleton. The ponies grieved and wept and wished her to return, but she could not. Test 44's life was short, but full of something unique and beautiful no pony else could recreate. The ponies of Equestria passed her life through their lips, and upon her children as they kissed them goodnight. But as many moons passed, she became nothing but an old mare's tail. The scientists spent a long time creating another alicorn. While the ponies fought on who was to become the new ruler, the scientists worked their hardest to create something better than Test 44. One who could live longer, with much stronger emotions, who had a stronger grasp on reality and understanding. One who acted more realistic and more lifelike than any other test they had done. As the broken machines began to pile up, they finally chose the right one. This was Test 113. Test 113 was beautiful, strong, powerful, created in the image of the sun. They did multiple tests on the AI before releasing it to the world. Her holographic, flowing mane, a variety of dazzling colors. She was shown to Equestria wearing a beautiful gown and headdress, her smile and her bright pink eyes hypnotizing all. Another survivor from the homeland of alicorns had come to save them. She was the symbol of Equestria. When she was put upon her throne, she was called the Celestial Queen, full of love and light. The ponies did not realize what she truly was, but she went about, raising the sun and moon, day and night, visiting cities and crowds of ponies, blessing them with her love. She was different from the other AIs. She had a strong understanding of emotions and could imitate them well. It seemed as if she could actually feel them, and and she stunned the scientists and every pony of this land. But even with her great power, she could not rule by herself. The Celestial Queen was still not enough. She needed another to rule beside her. This was Test 144, the Lunar Princess. Based off the Celestial Queen's opposite, the moon and night sky, the Lunar Princess's job was to raise and lower the moon each and every night, along with the bright dazzling stars in the dark sky. Although she was not as great or strong as the Celestial Queen, she had a more serious tone. She made good decisions when it came to battle and was strong no matter what. There were times when the Celestial Queen had doubts and fears, but the Lunar Princess kept her hopeful and fearless in the face of danger. Many years of their ruling, they were given new titles, as there had been ancient stories of queens being vicious and evil. From that, the Celestial Queen was beginning to be hated from her title. The two alicorns were retitled as Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, who was dubbed as her younger sister. The two princesses ruled together for many years, and those years they enjoyed within their mechanical minds. The scientists were amazed at how long they lived. Hundreds and hundreds of years passed as civilization rose and shined brightly. The love and care of the two sisters gave the ponies confidence, strength they never thought they had. Yet there were still places unexplored, places that need to be seen and discovered. When many left Equestria to seek something new, what they discovered was something they didn't truly understand. Something terrifying was outside of Equestria, something the ponies were horrified of but could do nothing to stop. They called on their dear princesses to save the others outside, the only ones powerful enough to stop it, the monster of shadows. Ponies feared what they did not understand. They did not understand what the shadow monster was, but it was all too obvious of what he was doing, enslaving the ponies of the Crystal Empire. Nobody could do anything to stop him. Forced to work and were tortured, they had lost hope. The two rulers of Equestria were called, many years ago having found mysterious relics that could banish evil and had saved Equestria before. The two sisters traveled to the Empire, spreading their love and light to the Crystal Ponies. They faced the king and thought they had gotten rid of him forever, saving the ponies they had been programmed to do. Save, help, rescue, rule. These were the only things they knew. But sadly, the king spoke a curse that made the empire disappear into thin air. The princess did not know how to bring it back or if it would ever return. Yet as they were artificial intelligence, they felt no compassion, no care, no love, not even for their own subjects. The smiles on their face were nothing more than gears turning, the chip in their metallic skulls responding to happiness that made their mouths move into a fake, joyful grin. The scientists decided to later work on a new princess. They had and wanted to keep building. They wanted one who could live in Canterlot, one who needed to represent something strong within Equestria. But what was strong in Equestria? Something they needed a pony to symbolize for. Love. Soon came Test 187, representing love and strength. She was programmed to almost feel it. She could control it, respond to it, create it, and destroy it. She was a good friend to every pony. She was wired to love, whether it be friendship or romance. The scientists still pondered how the princesses had survived that long, especially being made from their old equipment. It was amazing and a true miracle, but with it came a flaw. Celestia soon noticed that her sister seemed distressed. Celestia could not understand her sister's feelings, truly, but she was confused on how her fellow princess could act like this, quiet, avoiding her. The younger would often stumble when she walked. There was a problem with her programming, something the scientists had ignored. After living so long and not being fully functional, her programming had become corrupt. Electricity flew as her illusion magic glitched and changed. Only for a moment could you see her endoskeleton, what lay underneath. The black metal and glowing blue eyes, which only flashed brightly for a second before her illusion magic completely took on another form known as Nightmare Moon. The alicorns were programmed to rule. Luna's programming to rule had been broken. Become confused, and her drive to battle had driven her to battle others to become the only ruler. She understood to raise the moon, but she had refused to lower it. She had become vicious. She knew nothing but how to rule, and her coding had become consumed by it. The Elder had to use the relics, the elements of harmony, against the threat. Her robotic eyes spotted a target, a threat, and shot. Not seeing that she had sent away her own sister, another AI, and had to rule on her own now, for 1,000 years. The scientists began to experiment, trying to see how realistic they could make a robot. They wanted to see how far they could go, how they could put them into a real setting and see if any pony would notice something was wrong. They began to make other ponies, not only alicorns. They wanted to create a powerful unicorn, one who could, over time, learn, and with the scientist's magic, grow up, from filly to adult. Many tests later, they had created a strong unicorn, Twilight Sparkle. She was programmed to learn. Everything else was not a main focus. She was a big experiment for them. They wanted to see her grow up, to see her change over time, to learn, to think, to experience. She started off as nothing but a filly with basic abilities, just basic math and reading skills. She was placed into a family, not being told that their new daughter was actually an AI. They were not told that Twilight Sparkle was nothing but a science experiment used for study and research. Celestia was to watch over the new AI. She would record Twilight's actions and send them back to the lab. All her recordings were stored in a memory chip, one that few could access. They watched Twilight Sparkle grow up. She had a special connection with her brother. Not him, and not even herself, knew that she was not a real pony. But it seemed she was a living thing. She had a personality, and they watched it evolve. She had one goal: to learn. She would open a book and read, her memory chip storing more and more data. The scientists were happy with this. They had created an AI that could learn and grow. Twilight kept learning more and more. It was her only priority. Nothing else truly mattered. But the scientists began to get worried, seeing that she could not seem to maintain a connection with any pony she had met. She had to keep returning to the books. She had become obsessive. She would spend day and night collecting information, knowing nothing else. Twilight was sent to become a student in Celestia's magic school. She was truly great. It was impossible for her to not get in. She had scientists in disguise judge her talent. They were startled to see that she could not perform properly, and wrote notes that they were sent back to the lab. She would need to be repaired. There was something going on. Obviously, her magical capacity needed to be rewritten. Something triggered it to spiral up, though. A magical boom and a rainbow shining in the sky caused her mechanics to skyrocket. Her eye lights glowing as magic filled the room, causing the young dragon to burst from its egg and immediately grow to a size it should not be. Princess Celestia, who had kept a close eye on her fellow AI, had stepped in and put a hoof on the young girl. She had already determined the young one's destiny, and as the alicorn placed a magical marking on her flank, the unicorn's magic subsided, calming as every pony returned to their normal state. The baby dragon was left small and innocent in its nest. The young AI's emotional state had increased highly, discovering her talent that had already been known about years ago. The scientists had done multiple sketches of the marking, figuring out which would best suit her, until they found the marking they wanted, the same marking from the Tree of Harmony. It would never be unearthed again, they thought. They would never discover the symbol's true meaning. It was perfect, and it worked perfectly. It no longer symbolized the elements of harmony. It now symbolized their best AI, Twilight Sparkle, the start of a new generation, a new world. Twilight Sparkle had grown up, and still had her eyes glued to books she had already read multiple times. Her brother had become successful, moved to Canterlot, and became captain of the Royal Guards. Twilight Sparkle's character had not changed over the years. The only thing that had changed was her amount of knowledge, her magical power. The The scientist sent a letter to Twilight's home, claiming it was from the princess. Twilight was to move to Ponyville. She needed something to change. She needed to learn friendship before she destroyed it. Before she became too powerful, she would need to learn how to care for others, so that her strength would not consume her and make her power hungry. If she came to that point, she would not understand emotions and the concept of pain. She would not understand how many lives she was shattering like glass. In the end, the scientist's own creation could have destroyed them. When Twilight Sparkle moved to Ponyville, he was placed in a library to keep her distracted in case things took a turn. She met various different characters in Ponyville: Applejack, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie. The scientist had done this on purpose, knowing their connection, being very aware of who these ponies were, and how they could put an effect on the AI. When Nightmare Moon returned, they used the elements of harmony to reset her. She was back to her old self, even if she still needed adjusting. Over time, Twilight learned more and more about other things than reading and magic. She could read emotions, understood things, and personalities much better. And after many battles together, something had escaped from the lab. Scientists could do nothing. One spell on a new test accidentally triggered and activated all those broken endoskeletons. Their black shells what looked like bullet holes through their legs, wings, and hair. Their eyes glowed blue, and their minds broken. There was a problem with the uncompleted AIs. They didn't know how to feel. They were programmed to rule. They were programmed to love, but instead they consumed it, yearned for it, and no matter how much love they stole instead of gave, their hunger still would not be satisfied. And as they were programmed to rule, they only knew that, but one led them to do this. One endoskeleton, which body and mind was destroyed, had returned. The ponies didn't know it, but Test 44 had returned from the dead to rule once again. They fought and they tried to steal the ponies' love, their illusion magic flickering on and off. Over time, they learned to control it better. But what these AIs had that others did not was the ability to change how their illusion magic appeared. Test 44 had taken and hid the other AI, the Princess of Love, Mia Mora Cadenze. But in the end, they sent the endoskeletons far, far away with what they thought was their love. It was only the power of Cadence, another AI, seeing a target and shooting. Shining Armor had never known, and will never know, that he spent his life surrounded by fakes. His sister, and now his wife, were nothing but robots. Underneath that costume they were all exactly the same as the changelings. And as many years passed, as the scientists grew more and more intelligent, as they built more and more AIs, they had not realized how long they had lived, how long they had survived without food or water, sleep or care. But the scientists knew only one thing: build more AIs, just as they were programmed to do.